4. You're looking at about 7 minutes before a potential tornado could be in your area, although it does look like it's going to be heading more to the south of Eldora. But if you're on the outskirts of it, especially on the south side, that's where you want to be making sure that you're taking shelter. And also Conrad is also a community that could be potentially impacted by this storm.
I'm going to move up north just for a minute, Corey,
go right ahead.
Because we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning to pass along to you with a storm that has been producing golf ball size hail and 40-mile-an-hour winds. We still have it for Chickasaw County, but now northern parts of Fayette County and parts of the southern part of Winneshiek County until 9:45 have a severe thunderstorm warning for the storm. Last report, it was pushing off to the north and east at about 40 miles per hour, and like I said, has had history of producing ping pong ball size hail near Ionia, which is in Chickasaw County, and then that is pushing over towards Fayette and Decorah area. Decorah, you're just on the edge of that warning, but that goes until 9:15.
A lot of different threats with these storms, obviously, that we're watching. And there's another threat. You see that blue box that's around Iowa Falls, out back to the west near Fort Dodge. That is a flash flood warning that is now in effect for Hardin County for some extremely heavy rains that are also coming into these areas. I'm not exactly sure how much rain we've had just yet. Jen, have you had any reports of rainfall out of these areas?
I have not seen any reports as of yet.
Okay, so we'll probably get those in the next half hour, I would imagine. From the National Weather Service's storm spotters start to send in those reports. But anybody in the blue box here, you're dealing with torrential rains that have been going through, and you're also going to see the potential for some flash flooding. Streets might be flooded. If you do encounter any streets that are covered in water, do not drive through them. You never know exactly how deep that water is, and it only takes a few inches of water to be able to float your car. So that is obviously a very dangerous situation.
And
the biggest threat here, though, of course, again, is that tornado warning. Sure, go ahead,
Jen. And speaking of that, we do have a flash flood watch that's just been issued until 7 a.m. Monday. That does include the Waterloo area. It does include this Hardin and Grundy County area that we're watching with that warning, and then back down towards the Des Moines area.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you had mentioned when I first got in earlier that we might have a severe thunderstorm watch as well for some of our eastern counties. Is that correct?
Yep, that is until 3 a.m. I haven't been able to update the graphic here, but it is for the Cedar Rapids area, also up towards Dubuque, and also towards Iowa City. So we'll update that quick for you here. But severe thunderstorm warning until 3 a.m. And then we also have the tornado watch until 11 p.m. for the Waterloo, Marshalltown, and Grinnell area.
Yeah, so Blackhawk County all the way back down into Polk County. We're watching for that threat for tornadoes. Right now, that tornado warning is in Hardin County and Grundy counties. It's western Grundy County that we're looking at for the potential for a tornado to come in. And then there's that hook that we continue to watch as it's moving to the east. The last I had heard, it was moving at about 35 miles an hour. Is that what you saw, Jem?
Yes.
35 miles an hour, pretty much due east. So line it up from here. And if it continues on that same track, we're going to be going through southern portions of Grundy County and also Hardin counties. And then eventually, as that heads a little bit farther to the east, again, Conrad, that's this dot right down here. So if we can pick that up, 8:53 is when you could potentially be impacted by this storm. That's a little bit more than 20 minutes right now. So some time for you to be able to get into your shelter and to be able to find a place that you need to go to try to stay safe in the event that we do have a tornado that could be on the southwestern side of the storm. Again, right where you're seeing that hook. This indentation that you see right here to the west of Union, that's what we call the inflow area of the storm. It's drawing up a lot of warm, moist air in this area, and it's indicating that there is rotation, usually right there. It's a possibility that whatever is occurring may also be rain wrapped. You may not be able to actually see it. So we encourage you to just heed the warning. Get down to the basement, get down to the lowest floor of your home. If you do not have a basement, get to an interior room and just make sure to ride the storm out until the threat is over. Jen is highlighting right now where we're seeing that latest rotation. You get the red next to the green, indicating the turning of the winds within that storm system, and that's where we're looking at the potential for a tornado. About 5.5 miles south of Eldora. So Eldora itself likely going to pass to your south, but if you're out in any of the more rural areas down to the south here, we could see a potential tornado. 3.7 miles away from Union now, just up to the northwest. Any other communities that might be impacted, not really showing up exactly, but we do have a couple streets here that are drawn on now. 270th Street, 310th Street, that heads all the way out to the north of Conrad. Any of these areas are also going to be impacted. So main threats again for tonight. We have that tornado warning until 8:45 for Hardin and Grundy counties. You'll see a larger orange outline here. That's a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 9 o'clock for these same counties. That's also for the hail threat that's going to be coming with this storm. Not just tornado, but also lots of rain, hail, possibly even some damaging winds that could be coming out of this storm system as it's moving to the east. Not a really fast moving storm. It's kind of a moderate moving storm at 35 miles an hour, but that's still fast enough that it's going to put a lot of communities in harm's way in not too short of time once it gets just to the south of Eldora. And then eventually Grundy Center possibly could be in line for a tornado warning as we get into portions of Grundy County. And then of course we'll keep watching for some of the other counties out here to the east to see what happens with the National Weather Service. Jen, let me toss it back over to you for just a second if you want to go ahead and again kind of point out what we're watching here, maybe possibly go over those tornado safety graphics just one more time.
Yep, this is the latest radar loop we just got in there. I would put the tornado just to the north and west of the Union area, so about 2.5 miles north and west of the Union area. That is still in Hardin County. The the Hardin and Grundy County line is sitting right here where you see that white line. So just about ready to push into the Grundy County area. It will be pushing, if it continues its current path, it will be just north of Conrad and south of Grundy Center. But still, this can quickly change. So if you're in Grundy Center and Conrad or any of those smaller communities in that area, you need to be seeking shelter now. I know Green Mountain, I think, is in there as well. So that is the area that we are continuing to watch for that severe thunderstorm that is producing a possible tornado. We've had reports of funnel clouds near New Providence, which you can see just on the edge of your screen there. You can look for, I'm trying to find some other communities here that will be affected by this storm as it pushes off to the north or to the east at about 30 miles per hour. You could, let's see, we would see Dinsdale, Gladbrook, Traer, Beeman, Conrad would be in there. So those are the communities that would be in that area that aren't quite showing up on our radar yet. But Beeman and Conrad would be the biggest areas here. As Grundy Center would be just south of your area. Now, we still have several severe thunderstorm warnings. Besides this, we've had reports up north of golf ball and egg size hail north of the Waterloo area, pushing through Butler County and Bremer County. That is now pushing off north of Fredericksburg, just off to the east of New Hampton, and that has continued to push east and northeast. It will be affecting West Union, Kalmar, and then Postville and Claremont area, and possibly Decorah. But that it does have that severe thunderstorm warning with the confirmed egg and golf ball size hail with this one. If you have to possibly think of where that hail is, it's going to be where you see that darkest shade there near Lawler, Wacoma, Jackson Junction. You're going to be probably seeing where that hail is. It's in where you see these kind of purpley reds there is where we're seeing that hail threat in our northern counties. Now, there are no warnings for the Waterloo area, but you are probably seeing some very okay, we do have now as Chickasaw County another severe thunderstorm warning for that one until 8:45 for that storm that we just pointed out there with that strong indication of some hail. But Waterloo area, you're seeing a strong storm pushing through you. No warnings for that one. Grundy Center, you're actually not in a warning just yet, but it is just off to your west and is pushing eastward. Farther to the south, still some light showers and storms there, pushing towards Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and then back out west, even more showers and storms back towards Carroll and Harlan. But the reason we are on the air right now is for this tornado warning for Hardin and Grundy counties. There has been reports of tornadoes on the ground with this earlier tonight, and also several funnel cloud reports, which is the beginning of a tornado starting to form. And we're still seeing that signature where you would expect a tornado right there where the greens and the reds mix, just south now of the Eldora area. So about 5.5 to 6 miles due south of Eldora is where we're seeing that signature right now.
Gentlemen, jump right back in here for just a second if I could. I'm glad that you backed out the radar, because sometimes when we're covering these storms, we get zoomed in so far on these communities that you may kind of lose exactly where we are on the map here. This is just to the west of Waterloo. Again, we're looking at Hardin and Grundy counties. Blackhawk County not currently in a warning, but we do have a tornado warning that is just off to your west. And if this does sustain itself, it could eventually be impacting portions of Tama County that you see here, just kind of the corner in the conjunction of Grundy County, and then also eventually out toward Blackhawk County. So all of these communities, kind of a heads up that we do have a potential tornado producing storm that's in the area. No confirmed reports yet, at least in the last 10-15 minutes, of any tornadoes being produced by this storm. It's just radar indicated right now, but we're still seeing that radar signature that we look for. Again, the red next to the green indicating that we do have some rotation within that storm. The green indicating motion toward the radar, red motion away from the radar. And it's amazing technology. The Doppler radar can actually be able to see within that storm and be able to tell which way the winds are turning. Amazing when you're looking at it from a meteorological perspective, but of course, anybody who's in this area, that is not what you want to see, and you want to be making sure that you're getting into your shelter as quickly as possible. A lot of different threats that we're watching here for tonight. Of course, the tornado threat is the highest priority that we have right now. That goes until 8:45, so we'll stay on the air here with you until 8:45, or if we get to anything issue beyond that, we'll continue to cover it. We're hoping at 8:45 that maybe this might weaken a little bit, and the National Weather Service will just keep issuing severe thunderstorm warnings as opposed to tornado warnings, because if we did get more tornado warnings, that's heading into Grundy County, possibly Blackhawk County, and those are areas that we want to avoid. But just a heads up for those communities that you could be dealing with something if this does maintain its strength. So tornado, our biggest concern right now, but we also have large hail, up to 2 inches in diameter, reported in Butler County. Just wanted to give you a couple of the reports that came in. Clarksville, of course, remember Clarksville was hit by an EF1 tornado just earlier this month in Butler County. You're seeing some ping pong ball size hail, that's 1.5 inches in diameter. That was reported at 7:54. Green, also in Butler County, golf ball size hail. That is 1.75 inches, so we're getting close to 2 inches. And the 2-inch hail, that was also recorded in Clarksville, 7:55, 4 miles north of Clarksville. Hail that was the size of a chicken egg. That is 2 inches in diameter. We're dealing with some large hail here. Even if you're not dealing with any tornado damage, we've got hail, we've got heavy rain, a lot of different threats, and of course, all the lightning that are being produced by these storms as well. Waterloo, you're just getting into the thunderstorms right now. Of course, you're seeing the heavy rain, you're seeing the lightning. We're just starting to see a little bit of that lightning getting down into the corridor. So Cedar Rapids down through Iowa City. A little bit of development here, but nothing severe impacting anybody in Lynn County or Johnson County just yet. It's mainly right here where you see these two clusters of really heavy lightning that's going on. Again, 1,200 lightning strikes in just the past 10 minutes. These storms are lighting up the sky for tonight, and that indicates a lot of power, a lot of energy that's in the atmosphere. Of course, you can feel it when you go outside, how muggy it is. A lot of moisture for these storms to feed on, and that's exactly what they're doing for tonight. Jen driving the radar here and taking us back in to show you where that tornado warning is. It looks like they had, the National Weather Service has shrunk this just a little bit. Before it was all the way back out to Hubbard in Hardin County. Now they've shrunk it down just to the south of Eldora. They have not really extended the eastern side of this tornado warning just yet. And that's typical. They'll just kind of follow that tornado or that storm as it's moving to the east. They'll kind of shrink the warning just to follow that storm. And then we'll see as we get closer to 8:45 whether the National Weather Service does intend to be able to issue something a little bit farther out to the eastern. Grundy County might include a little bit of Tama County, might even include a little bit of Blackhawk County. What Jen is drawing on here is the county line right there. That is Hardin County, and then this is Grundy County, and then again Blackhawk County over here.
This is the new one.
We just got it. Okay, tornado warning for Blackhawk County. Let me step out of the way for just a second. Jen, give us the latest information on this new warning.
This is for Blackhawk County. Is going to be south and portions of Blackhawk County, and then Tama County until 9:15. We are seeing that this is pushing off to the east at 35 miles per hour. This is capable as a Doppler indicated one, and it's going to be affecting LaPorte City, Washburn, and Gilbertville. Also, Interstate 380 between mile markers 56 and 68 there. So it's going to be for this notch right here that we would continue to see kind of the possibility of some rotation with that one. So that is a new severe tornado warning, excuse me, for portions of southern portions of Blackhawk County and also the far northern tips of Tama County until 9:45 or 9:15, excuse me.
And what it looks like here, Jen, is that we're dealing with several separate cells. Some of them are kind of combining here just a little bit. Eventually, these tend to form into a big line, but we're not quite to that stage yet. We're still at the supercell phase here with a few of these, which can produce stronger tornadoes, typically on the southwest side of those storms. And that's what Jen is pointing out here right now. U.S. Highway 63 off there to the west would be in the nearest vicinity of where we could possibly see a tornado. Again, let me just step right back in here. Just to the east of Rhinebeck, you see that red line and also just kind of a little bit of a notch that's right here. That's where that inflow would be, and a possible tornado could be right there in that area. This is encompassing southern areas of Blackhawk County, LaPorte City, 9:06. You're looking at about 20 minutes, a little bit more than 20 minutes until this storm system is right through the LaPorte City area. What was the speed on this one again, Jen?
It's 30 miles off to the east, 30 miles an hour.
30 miles an hour out to the east. Okay, so it's moving at kind of a moderate pace. Not a really, really fast storm, but still fast enough that anybody who's in this area, you need to be taking shelter. So we have one storm here with a potential tornado that's right in this vicinity, and then we have a second storm that's back here with another tornado that's right back here to the south of Eldora, at least a potential tornado. Both of these radar indicated. Is that correct, Jen? We don't have any reports on the Blackhawk one yet?
No reports on the Blackhawk County one, and they've actually, now the one we were on air for was for Hardin and Grundy County until 8:45. Now they've issued this new one that now extends for the rest of the central parts of Grundy County and northern Tama County on that same storm until 9:15. So they're kind of projecting that out farther there.
Okay.
And then that new one for parts of southern Blackhawk County until 9:15 as well.
Okay. So just to catch you up again, we're looking at two potential storms here, two different supercells that have developed, might be linking here just a little bit on radar, but essentially we have a rotation here just to the south of Eldora that could be producing a tornado, and that's going to be heading out all the way through portions of Grundy County and also for Tama County here. Northern Tama County would be impacted, and then a second storm that is right up across portions of southern Blackhawk County that could be producing a tornado that's right here that's going to be moving in toward the LaPorte City area, possibly within the next 20 minutes. And we have tornado warnings for both of those areas. Up to the north in Waverly, we have Chloe, one of our producers here at CBS 2 and Fox 28 on the line. Chloe, what are you seeing up there? We imagine that we do have a lot of hail that is going through, a lot of rain. What have you been dealing with so far?
Really low lying clouds, and the wind has really picked up over the last 20 minutes. I am right now hunkered down over under a gas station awning, trying to avoid any into the Waterloo area. I've been watching the radar from my phone and trying to avoid that. It just started raining here. It's not raining really hard, but you are seeing some heavy rain.
Waverly, have you seen, I didn't hear the first part of it. Did you say that you did have the hail that's come through, or is it just the rain?
I have not seen any hail yet, just rain.
Okay. But obviously those low dark clouds.
Yes.
So Chloe's calling in just from the north of Blackhawk County up here in Bremer County. Anything that you're seeing up there that is looking like it's producing any funnel clouds, or has it mainly just been the rain that you've been able to see so far?
I have been seeing some clouds that have been getting really low and having some clouds drift off of it, but no funnel clouds yet, just really heavy rain and dark clouds.
Okay. Chloe, we appreciate the report, and please stay safe. We'll try to get you some more reports of folks who are in these areas that are possibly being impacted by tornadoes. Again, we have two separate areas that could be impacted by a tornado. This one just to the east of Rhinebeck. Here's West Eagle Road, West Hamer Road, Hudson just up to the north. tornado warning. This is where a lot of counties are kind of coming together. We have portions of Tama County, Grundy County, Blackhawk County that are all included in this tornado warning. I believe it goes until 9:15. Is that the expiration time again for this one, Jem?
Yes, 9:15.
Okay, 9:15. And this storm is moving to the east at 30 miles an hour. Let me back out the radar just a bit if we could. Once we get a chance to look at the velocity here, again, we're trying to show you exactly where the winds are turning. Not a super strong rotation that we're seeing just yet there. You do see, of course, the green and the red next to each other, but not perhaps quite as strong as even with the other storm that we've been watching. But nonetheless, radar indicating that there is rotation here, possible tornado. You need to be taking shelter immediately if you're within any of these areas. So this looks to be just to the south of Hudson. And again, heading to the east, right along West Eagle Road, possibly crossing U.S. Highway 63 in just the next couple of minutes. This would be about 5 miles just to the southwest of Hudson, and then heading out to the east around LaPorte City. If you are in LaPorte City, you need to be taking shelter immediately. Head down to the basement, head down to the lowest floor of your home if you do not have a basement, and get to an interior room, closet or a bathroom without any windows. Best place to be. You want to be away from windows because that is where you're going to have the most potential for injuries just from flying debris that could be flying around with all these storms if there is indeed a tornado that's embedded within this storm. This one especially you would not see coming. This one looks certainly like it would be a rain-wrapped tornado. We're seeing that rotation that Jen was pointing out there earlier. It's right in the middle of all this heavy rain that you're seeing in this area around southern Blackhawk County, which means that visibility is going to be extremely low. You're not going to be able to see anything that is going to be coming your direction, so you just need to heed that warning as fast as you possibly can. Get into your shelter, get exactly where you need to be to try to ride this out, and then wait until, of course, the threat has passed to be able to come back up. We would love to be able to move all this out of the area as quickly as possible and not have it hit any of our main population areas. But of course, now we have this immediately right within the vicinity of Waterloo. It's just to the south of you, so it does not look like Waterloo itself is going to get hit, but some of the communities just along southern Blackhawk County, definitely a threat here. Gilbertville, LaPorte City, any of these communities, you're really under the gun for the potential for a tornado to go through and possibly some damage. And other areas back out to the west. Again, still watching that secondary storm that still has a tornado on it. It has now moved out to the southeast of Eldora and heading up toward the Grundy Center area. Let me back out for just a second and give Jen a chance to put the storm track back on both of these storms, give you a little bit better idea exactly the timing of what we can expect with these storms, when they're going to be impacting the different communities that are along the line of each of these cells that we're watching. Jen?
With this first storm, that the reason we broke on in the first place was for Hardin and parts of Grundy County. Now it is just Grundy County under that tornado warning. Hardin County, you are now out of it. It is for Grundy County until 9:15, and it is on this leading edge right in this area. You see that rotation very well there. It is north of Liscombe, south of and southeast of Eldora. It's going to be pushing to the north of Conrad. We'll throw some streets on there for you, but that would be 270th Street, and that's 310th Street. So it's in between there off to the west. We have H Avenue, so it's coming in that direction as well, north of the Conrad area. We're going to put a storm track on just that area where the rotation is that we're seeing, and we're going to put it out here about 35 miles. So you could be Rhinebeck at 9:17 there, and we will also probably be just south of the Grundy Center area and probably north of the Lincoln area. So that is until 9:15. We're still seeing some very strong rotation with that. The greens next to the reds. Now the other storm we have here is that severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, excuse me, until 9:15 as well for southern Blackhawk County and northern Tama County. We have in the last couple of radar loops seen that rotation there south and west of Hudson. That is also pushing off to the east, so we'll put a storm track on that one for you. It's pushing in this area, so we can expect it. Hudson area, or just south of the Hudson area, at 8:54 here in the next couple of minutes. Gilbertville at 9:18 and LaPorte City at 9:20. 20s. So we're continuing to see these push very slowly. Also, with this, we're seeing a lot of flash flooding warnings starting to be issued for this because of the heavy rainfall. So you are not going to see this tornado until it is on top of you because of that heavy rain threat. So we will continue to see this as starting closely to get to that Highway 63 area that comes south out of Hudson. That would be where the rotation is at with this first storm. Now back on the other storm, we're still seeing very strong rotation with that one as well. And that is that severe tornado warning until 9:15 as well for Grundy County. You can see the big area of greens next to those reds indicating that rotation right in here. Just kind of perspective, this is the Grundy County line there with Hardin County, so it's just crossed that if you are familiar with that area. But it is continuing to hold together now, of course, because it's getting dark out, because there's so much heavy rainfall with this, we're not getting actual reports. So we've had reports with this cell of tornadoes on the ground near Stanhope and also Jewel, which is in Hardin County. Also reports in this vicinity of Hardin County of several funnel clouds, which is the start of tornadoes. So we take this very seriously. You're not going to see the tornado, so please don't go out and try to take pictures for us. We will take your storm reports after it has passed, but in the meantime, we would rather have you seek shelter, get to the lowest floor, put something over your head, and take shelter now.
Jen, also, I wanted to reemphasize as well something else that you mentioned, just the heavy rain that we're seeing out of these storms. Of course, the tornado, that is the biggest concern that we have here, but we also have flash flood warnings that are now being issued for Blackhawk County until 2:45. You just see all this red here. That is heavy, heavy moisture that's coming in. Jen, if you could just grab the ID weather tool for a second and just pinpoint a couple of these spots just to get the rainfall rates. We're looking at several inches in an hour would be my guess, right around in here. 2 inches in an hour. You're seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, yes, certainly in just an hour. That's exactly what we're dealing with. That can easily flood out streets. You may not be able to go out and travel even after the tornado threat has passed just because of the street flooding that we could be potentially seeing in these areas. Again, tornado warnings until 9:15 for Blackhawk County. Tama County also included in this. Is that right, Jem? We do have a little bit of Tama County.
Northern parts of Tama
just right,
County.
the northern part right here. And then also the one for Grundy County. That one's also until 9:15 as well, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. 9:15 is the latest that we have for those warnings. Let me just have Jen run through those again. Tornado warning until 9:15. Two separate ones that we're watching, two separate cells. Let me outline. The first one out here to the east, the second one back out here to the west. They both have rotation. They both have a possible tornado that could be causing damage, could be causing a lot of damage in areas just to the southeast of Eldora. Again, this one moving through portions of now Grundy County, and then also another one that is heading out toward the LaPorte City. The rotation on this one, the secondary one out to the east, not quite as strong of a signature as what we're seeing with that western storm. That western storm seems to be a bit stronger. If we do have a tornado that is with that one, I would expect that that one could be a stronger tornado, might be doing some more damage than the one that we're seeing right in here. However, even if we're not getting a strong tornado signature, there's still a threat that we could have a tornado on the ground, and anybody who's within that area needs to be taking shelter. Again, that does include LaPorte City. We're just getting a severe thunderstorm warning now extended down into Benton County. That's until 10 o'clock. That does include Vinton, and also looks like we have a little bit of western Lynn County that's also included in this, and even Buchanan County until 10 o'clock. Jen, what are the threats here? I'm assuming hail, any wind that's with this as well?
60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible with this one as well.
And then hail threats, are we just looking at quarter-size hail or anything larger?
3/4 of an inch.
Okay, so we're looking at possibly some nickel-size hail there. Not necessarily the large hail that some of the storms have been producing earlier. Again, we've had golf ball to egg-size hail coming out of some storms up around Butler County in the Clarksville area. So tremendous amounts of hail that were coming out of some of these northern storms. These ones are more rain producers. And again, there's also that threat for tornadoes with two separate cells, one that's in southern Blackhawk County And then this other one that's just heading into Grundy County. It's getting out of Hardin County, although there is still a severe thunderstorm warning that's out there. And then the blue boxes that you see starting to pop up, those are flash flood warnings, which extend from Webster City all the way out to the west of I-35, now all the way to Blackhawk County, right included into Waterloo. We do have a flash flood warning now until 2:45. Heavy downpours are expected with these storms, and you're not going to see a tornado if there is something that's embedded within this storm, which again looks like there is, based on what we're seeing here from radar, that there is a potential rotation within this storm. The secondary storm again out to the west, that one was showing some strong rotation, but both of them are threats for the area. Let me let Jen kind of zoom back in on these. Let's get the velocity scope back on and try to pinpoint where that rotation is and how close it's getting to some of these communities. Looks like we're going to be dealing with folks in Gladbrook. You're pretty close to it, although not in the tornado warning itself. There's the red outline. It's a little bit farther to the north, right around Lincoln. Rhinebeck, also included in this tornado warning.
Yep.
Grundy
Rhinebeck. Center,
you're not included in it, but you're going to be seeing some heavy rain, possibly some hail that's up to the north. And now Conrad looks to be out of the tornado threat. The National Weather Service has kind of moved this tornado warning to the east just a little bit, and it looks like kind of hard to tell exactly where that red line is there on the western side. Is it right about here, Jen? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, that's the Hardin and Grundy County line. It would be this darker area right here.
Okay, so right about those county lines, that's where we're seeing it. Sorry, just the red outline of the tornado warning kind of blending in a little bit with the rain that we're seeing here, the reflectivity. But we do still have a little bit of Grundy County and Tama County, of course, that are included in this, but also Blackhawk County that we're still watching for the potential for a tornado that could be on the ground, possibly doing damage. It's been just a few minutes since we've popped up those tornado warning safety graphics. Jen, let me have you quickly go over those again for folks that are going to be in these areas. Let's get through these and get right back to radar.
You need to get to the lowest floor of your house. If you're an apartment building, try to get on the lowest floor of that apartment building complex as well. Knock on your neighbor's doors. If there's no basement, get to an interior room on the lowest floor. That means put as many walls between you. Try to get in the middle of the house. Get out of your mobile homes. They are not sturdy enough to withstand strong winds and tornadoes. You need to go to the designated shelter in your mobile home park, or go to a substantial house or building next door or as close to you as possible. If you're outside, see a safe shelter. I know many people have softball games, stuff like that going on the weekend, so you need to get into maybe the park's restrooms or a business nearby. Last resort is go in the ditch, but with the heavy rainfall, you're going to see some flash flooding concerns, so please be careful with that. Also, put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. Stay away from windows. Get under something sturdy and cover your head with a mattress, pillows, blankets, anything to protect yourself. We've also said sometimes to put a bicycle helmet on, motorcycle helmet, your football helmet, something like that, just because that is the most important part you want to protect, and anything you can do to protect that is important. And we've also had in Grundy County, Morrison, which is just to the south and east of Grundy Center. They've had reports of a metal building, some sheds and stuff damaged. Also, a 4 to 6 foot diameter tree has been snapped, and crops have been damaged west of town, more than likely probably flattened with the rain and the wind.
Yeah, I imagine the crops are going to have a tough time surviving all the threats that are coming out of these storms for right now. If you are just joining us, it's right at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Let's recap exactly what's going on. We're not showing our normal newscast on the Fox 28 News at 9 at this moment. We're just bringing you severe weather coverage, team severe weather coverage here from the Weather First team, just because of the threat that we have in several counties. There is a tornado threat that is in Grundy County, also portions of Tama County, and also Blackhawk County. Jen's putting up those tornado warnings for you. Currently, they expire at 9:15 for all of those counties, Tama, Grundy, and Blackhawk. Jen, have they been extended any farther than that, or is it still 9:15?
Still 9:15 for those.
Okay, so at least until 9:15, we will be bringing you continuous coverage of this tornado threat. After that, they might get issued a little bit farther out to the east, so I always like to give some of the counties that are going to be out to the east a little bit more of a heads up. Buchanan County possibly might be dealing with something eventually if this tornado warning does get issued a little bit farther out to the east, so a heads up to you. We have not seen any indication of a tornado warning getting any farther south, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in Benton County and also for Lynn County. That goes until 10 o'clock for some large hail, not quite 1 inch in diameter, just a little bit less than that, possibly some penny to nickel size hail, but certainly some damaging winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds. The outflow that would be coming on the just on the south side here of the storm, those outflow winds are going to be coming through Vinton, through Center Point, through Walker, all of these areas right along I-380. You're going to be seeing some very strong winds that will be coming through this area. I would avoid traveling, if you can, at all across I-380, at least until this threat is going to pass. If you know anybody that's in the area, make sure to give them a call. Let them know that they need to be taking shelter immediately. There is a tornado threat around Gilbertville, LaPorte City. We're getting much, much closer now to LaPorte City than it was earlier. Jen putting our velocity scope on here again, just showing you where that rotation is, which way the winds are turning within that storm. And there is a possible tornado that would be likely rain wrapped here. You're not going to see it. You're not going to be able to step out your door and pick out exactly where it's going and is this going to hit my house or not. It's just too tough to tell with all this rain that we have going on. Anywhere from 1 to 2 inches in an hour is falling out of this storm. So don't expect to see it. But again, out to the west of LaPorte City, you have a tornado threat that is possibly on the ground. Right now, it's just radar indicated. Tough to get any storm spotter reports of a confirmed tornado when we have this much rain. So,
Corey, I'm going to move back to this storm.
Sure, let's go back to that second one.
Because they are going to continue that severe, or the tornado warning until 9:15, but at 9:01, they have a confirmed tornado located 6 miles southwest of Rhinebeck or 9 miles southeast of Grundy Center, and it's moving 40 miles per hour to the east. So weather spotters confirmed a tornado on the ground. The Conrad Fire Department reported 2 tornadoes about 2 miles north of Conrad. So we do have confirmed tornadoes on the ground. They said it would be located 6 miles southwest of Rhinebeck or 9 miles southeast of Grundy Center.
Let's get the distance tool out there and show folks where that would be in relation to Rhinebeck then. We're looking at mainly this area that we're going to be dealing with that potential for those tornadoes to be passing through. So Lincoln, right in the crosshairs of where a tornado is going to be going through, maybe just up a little bit to your north. But these areas, you need to be taking shelter immediately as there is a confirmed tornado that is in the area. Certainly not surprised that we do have some storm spotters that have been able to confirm tornadoes in this area. This is the one that we had the stronger rotation on that we were showing you earlier. This is the one that certainly looked like it had the possibility of a stronger tornado, this western storm. Now, right now, the velocity showing maybe a little bit farther out to the west. Maybe that hasn't quite caught up just yet. But we're still getting the new scans in from the National Weather Service. And it looks like the western edge of that tornado warning right about there, the eastern edge out here toward Rhinebeck. And again, also not quite at Gladbrook, but Lincoln certainly is included on this one.
And I
this
say,
one is where
I'm
we do
going
have
to draw the
confirmed
line
tornado.
on there, Corey. That would be the Tama-Grundy County line there. So that's kind of right where we're seeing that rotation with that latest scan pushing in there. So that's where we're seeing the confirmed tornadoes on the ground.
Okay, so northern Tama County is where we're dealing with that right now. Traer, which is just right back down here, not currently included in the tornado warning, but could be if this gets reissued a little bit farther out to the east beyond 9:15. Again, we've got a confirmed tornado that is on the ground, so I would imagine that if it holds its strength and we continue to get those reports, the National Weather Service will issue another tornado warning out here that could include Traer and also portions of Highway 63. So anybody traveling along these areas, please try to get out of those areas, try to avoid them. If you don't have a place that you can be able to safely escape the storm, make sure to find shelter, preferably someplace that is underground. A basement is best, or at least a sturdy structure. If you're in a mobile home and you're watching our coverage or listening to us on our live stream right now with CBS 2 and Fox 28, that is one of the worst places that you can possibly be. Those are not safe structures to be in during a tornado. So you need to find another place to be able to go if you can safely do so. Again, Jen moving the radar in just a little bit more toward Lincoln, pointing out a couple of streets here. County Highway T47, 270th Street, 300th Street over here, and then also F Avenue. We're looking for a potential tornado that could be anywhere right in this vicinity, moving right across the Lincoln area. Anybody who's in Lincoln, certainly has that highest threats right now that we're looking at for our entire viewing area, with a potential tornado just off to your west. Again, actually, it was not potential. This one, the confirmed tornado. The other one, the radar indicated one, that was the one that was impacting Black Hawk County. Any reports from the National Weather Service on that one? Any updates yet from that one, Jen?
No updates on that one as of right now. No, they're still going to continue to. It would be about 12 miles south of Waterloo, moving east at 35 miles per hour would be the possible tornado.
Okay. And here at Broadcast Park, we're starting to hear some of the thunder that's associated with these storms. Again, for Linn County and also Benton County, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for some strong winds, possibly up to 60 miles an hour, and some hail. But the tornado threat is just a little bit farther up to the north, across portions of Tama County, and then also across portions of Black Hawk County. Let me step out of the way for just a second, and Jen, go ahead and widen out the radar just a little bit more to give folks an idea of what areas that we're dealing with in relation to some of our bigger cities. Waterloo, you're just up here to the north of where the main tornado threats are. One cell that we're watching, one supercell that is possibly producing a tornado right around LaPorte City, and then the secondary one out here to the west, which again, moving in through northern Tama County. Down to the south, Cedar Rapids, you're getting some rain right now. Of course, we're hearing that thunder, we're getting the lightning, possibly could be dealing with some winds. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning. That's the orange outline that you see right here that includes portions of northern Benton County, northern Linn County, also a little bit of Buchanan County right here. But that's not really the thing that is going to be impacting our viewing area the most. Of course, it is those two cells that you see there with that tornado threat. Also up to the north. Jen, I'll let you briefly catch viewers up on what's happening up across our northeastern counties as well.
Northern Fayette County and just the southeastern corner of Winship County until 9:15. You got another 8 minutes there on that severe thunderstorm warning, and then a good majority of Al-McKee County until 9:45. These storms have been having history of producing golf ball or egg-sized hail when they were in Bremer and Butler County, so that is why they've issued that. They've also could be producing some gusty winds and some very heavy rainfall in that. But the biggest threat is going to be over an inch size hail or 60-mile-an-hour winds with those pushing off to the north and east. But our big threat is down to the south. Cedar Rapids, really just like some regular thunderstorms there, but it's between Waterloo and Cedar Rapids that we are seeing that heavy rainfall, several flash flood warnings, these blue outlines here for Hardin, Grundy, Black Hawk County. I will say I'm not going to go through them right now, but they are coming in more and more. River flooding is starting to get issued across the area. So
yeah, the Iowa River at Marshalltown just had a flood warning that was issued until 4 o'clock. Am I reading that correctly? Let's see.
Yep, and I've heard the Turkey River in Elkader is going up, so all this heavy rain is adding to the flooding concerns. But our biggest concern right now is with the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warnings just south of the Waterloo area. So we still have a tornado warning. It's just the very little tip of Grundy County. I'd say mostly northern Tama County now until 9:15 for another 5 minutes on that one. We'll see if they extend that. And then the one that is in southern Black Hawk County, that the Tama portion of that has been taken out. It is just southern Black Hawk County for that tornado warning up there. And then, of course, we have the severe thunderstorm warnings farther down to our south and east for parts of Benton County, the northern part of that. Just the northeastern or northwestern corner of Linn County and Buchanan County. Now, Robbins, you're not in that severe thunderstorm warning, but it does include Walker area. So yeah, that is what we're continuing to see right now.
Okay. And also, I just want to reemphasize as well that we did get a report from the Conrad Fire Department reporting not one but 2 tornadoes that were on the ground moving east. That report was at 8:48, so about 20 minutes ago. Jen's highlighting where we see Conrad there, and just out to the east we're trying to find exactly where that rotation would be in the storm, and there it is. There it's popping up. Let me come back in and show you what we're looking at. Again, Lincoln, we've been talking about this community a lot, trying to get folks to make sure to heed these warnings. The Conrad Fire Department, just off to your west, reported 2 tornadoes confirmed on the ground heading out toward the east. And it looks like we do have that rotation still showing up on radar. We could still have those tornadoes one, possibly two, that would be moving through the vicinity. Now is the time, if you haven't already, to be taking shelter if you're anywhere close to the Lincoln area, also up around Rhinebeck. Does not look like we're picking up any other communities out on the eastern side of this warning, but certainly do have quite a few roads out here that we can put up. County Highway D65. Anybody that does live out along these areas, any of the farming communities that might be affected by this, certainly we're going to be watching for. New tornado warning, we just saw that issued there. New red outline that got popped up. Let me back out for a second. Jen, give us the latest on this new warning.
Yep, this one is now for Tama County and far just very southern edge of Black Hawk County until 9:45. This is going to kind of take over where that other Tama and Grundy County one ended. This does include the Traer area, Dysart. Let me read a little bit more information. At 9:11, so just a minute ago, a confirmed tornado was located 5 miles south of Rhinebeck, or 13 miles southeast of Grundy Center, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So this is a confirmed tornado on the ground just to the south of Rhinebeck, which you can see on your screen there. Kind of the indication, kind of Lincoln, where we're seeing that rotation. This will be pushing off to the east. You need to seek shelter if you're in any of these areas. It will be affecting Traer, Dysart, and the T.F. Clark State Park. So those are the areas now under the gun. A confirmed tornado just south of Rhinebeck.
So no longer the two that we had reported from the Conrad Fire Department. Looks like possibly just one right now, but still a very pronounced rotation that is showing up there. You see that green next to red that Jen was pulling up here right around the Lincoln area. Again, here it is. That's where the rotation is. That's where the tornado is that we keep getting these confirmed reports of. This isn't just the radar telling us that there is rotation within the storm. These are actual reports that we're getting in from, again, the Conrad Fire Department, from other storm spotters in the area that have seen a tornado that is pushing through these areas. This is northern Tama County. This is also portions of Grundy County that are going to be affected here. And we're confirming that here as well with our own Doppler radar, showing you that we do have that rotation just to the west of Lincoln. This is to the southwest of Rhinebeck, and it's mainly moving due east. It's continued on that same track. We haven't really seen any deviation from that. Pretty much moving to the east, either at 30 or 35 miles an hour. Not a really fast-moving storm, but certainly that also brings into play the fact that we'll see some flash flooding out of these storms because all the rain is sitting here and obscuring the visibility with the tornado. That's a big threat. But even after the tornado threat goes by, you could see some significant street flooding in some of these areas. And we already have flash flood warnings that have also been issued for many of these counties. Again, this is just to the north of the Cedar Rapids metro area that we're dealing with this. We're not dealing with Lynn County in a tornado warning itself. This is northern Tama County, Benton County out here in a severe thunderstorm warning as of right now. And we also do still have portions of Black Hawk County that are in a tornado warning, but it's not Waterloo. It is just down to the south, right around LaPorte City. And again, areas closer to Traer, Dysart, and then also up around Rhinebeck that we're watching for that potential damage that could be caused by a tornado moving through these areas. Now, I'm seeing the one red outline that we have here. Jen, did the National Weather Service take the tornado warning off of this secondary storm out to the east?
The secondary storm that was for southern Black Hawk County and Tama County has been expired. It was over in this area around LaPorte City, and so that has now been expired. So the only tornado warning we have is the one with confirmed tornadoes on the ground, and that's why we are still on the air, but it is for Tama County. It's going to be in the northern parts of Tama County, and it does go in the very far southern tip of Black Hawk County, but I'd say Tama County, you're really under the gun as of right now. And just a couple looking at the map here, we've been talking about that rotation on this storm near Lincoln, the small town there. We do have a couple other storms towns just to the east of Lincoln. Would be Dinsdale, and then also east of that would be Buckingham, and then to the south of those two would be Traer, which is showing up on the map there. But just kind of giving you a little bit more perspective perspective of some of those towns that would, Buckingham would be about here, and then Dinsdale would be just off to the area right here. So not showing up on our map because we aren't zoomed in just enough, but I do want to put that on your radar as those locations are under the gun for this rotation.
Also, just want to pass along a report that we just got in. Morrison, which is in Grundy County, police are reporting thunderstorm damage. Not sure of whether this is straight line winds or whether this is tornado damage, but reporting damage, reports of tree and structural damage in town, including roofs off of buildings. Again, this was reported, let's see, the report just came in at 9:13, so a couple of minutes ago, but the actual damage looks like it was done closer to about 8:30 when that storm system was going through. Again, reports of tree and structural damage in the town of Morrison, which is in Grundy County. Roofs off of buildings, tree and structural damage in town. Folks, we're dealing with certainly a damaging storm here, one that you need to be taking very seriously if you're in these areas. Traer, Dicer, and also heading out toward LaPorte City. Anybody in southern Blackhawk County here, you are also included in that tornado warning. Just like Jen mentioned, anywhere along Highway 63 could be cross area not too far from now. Looks like the tornado warning would be out to the west, or the tornado itself rather, would be out to the west of Highway 63. Hasn't quite crossed it yet. It would be back out here in this area, but we're watching it to potentially cross Highway 63 fairly soon, probably within the next 15 to 20 minutes. It'll be crossing those areas and then eventually heading out toward the east, and could get closer and closer to I-380. And as it does so, we'll continue to watch it very closely. This tornado warning in effect until 9:45. There are 3 counties that are included in this. It's Blackhawk County, Tama County, and also a little bit of Grundy County. Jen's going to put those tornado warnings there for you. And but it's, again, Tama County that has the majority of the areas that are going to be impacted by this. Let me just step out for a second. Jen, can you put a storm track on this again? Let's put a few communities that are going to be in the path of this storm and try to give folks a timeline of when they can expect that storm to be in their area.
Yep, the rotation is south of Rhinebeck here, just off the east of Gladbrook. We're going to put that out there. Traer at 9:33, so you got about 20 minutes or so on that one. Traer is right there. Dysart, you would be just on the edge of that, so that it expires at the 9:45. So 9:45 would be the Dysart area there. It is past the Lincoln area. It is south of the Rhinebeck area. Gladbrook, you're in the clear. Beeman, Conrad, you're in the clear. But it is going to be Traer that we're going to be looking for. Dinsdale, Buckingham would be in that area. Mount Ayr is farther off to the east. And Dysart, so that is going to be the area that we're going to be watching closely here for that rotation. And it is because of confirmed tornadoes on the ground. That's why we are continuing to stay on air with this warning.
And it is our station policy that anytime we do have a tornado warning that is in the area that is affecting our viewing area, that we will bring you that continuous coverage until the threat is over or until the warning has expired, and this current one goes until 9:45. So for those of you watching us on Fox 28, normally this would be our newscast, of course, right now, but we'll continue to bring you the severe weather coverage until the threat is over. For those of you watching us on CBS 2, we realize that we are interrupting your normal programming, but we hope that you understand that this is certainly a serious situation that we're dealing with, and that we must have this be our first priority as opposed to showing the normal programming, that we need to bring you this potentially life-saving information that is dealing with the severe weather. We have a tornado warning, again, that is just off to the west of LaPorte City, includes mainly Tama County here, and just a sliver of Grundy County is included in this, just down to the southeast, and it's also southern Blackhawk County, but it's really mainly northern Tama County that is the bulk of this warning. That includes Traer, that includes Dicer, and then eventually, if this does get extended out to the east, we'll have to keep watching it. It could be impacting portions of Benton County. So heads up to Benton County. You are currently under a severe thunderstorm warning for the Vinton area. You may be under a tornado warning if this gets extended beyond 9:45. So just, again, a heads up that you may be dealing with something more than just wind and hail coming up within the next hour. So just be ready. just in case we do see something that gets issued out there. But at least for right now, Benton County, Lynn County, just a severe thunderstorm warning. Yes, that can be damaging. We're looking at hail and wind, but the biggest threat here is going to be the tornado that has been confirmed in the area just to the east of Lincoln and also up to the northeast of Gladbrook and to the south of Rhinebeck. We keep getting the radar scans in from the National Weather Service. About every 5 minutes they'll update, and you'll see some of that information change, so we'll try to pinpoint those areas. But Jen is circling where we're seeing still that inflow notch here, that little indentation that you see. That's where the storm is drawing up the warm, the moist air that's outside. You step outside, of course, you realize immediately how muggy it is. A lot of fuel for these storms, and that's where it's all going in. The inflow is coming into that storm system right there, and then it gets picked up by the mesocyclone, that rotating updraft that's within the storm, and then it can be producing a tornado that's right in that area. County Highway D65, possibly kind of following that road out to the east and moving at about anywhere between 30 to 35 miles an hour out to the east. So we're still west of Highway 63. Hasn't quite hit that area just yet. Traer, if it holds its current path, it looks like it would head straight to your north, so not heading right into Traer itself. But anybody who's in the vicinity, still make sure that you're taking shelter, take precautions, because there is the potential that a tornado could be moving at least very close to your area. Again, law enforcement has confirmed that we do have a tornado on the ground with this storm system that is just off to the west of the Traer area, northern Tama County, and also portions of southern Blackhawk County. Jen, I'll step out for just a second. Again, let me, I'll let you just kind of give a radar tour here for a second of just any other warnings that we have in effect for our viewing area.
Yep. And just kind of like we've been saying, this is some very heavy rainfall. We've had a report from Lincoln, which is in Tama County. We've been telling you that rotation was over the Lincoln area, but in 45 minutes, Lincoln has gotten over 2 inches of rainfall. So that is coming down very, very hard. 2 inches in 45 minutes in the Lincoln area, and we'll zoom in here so you can actually see where the Lincoln area is there. There's Lincoln right in the middle of your screen. So with this storm pushing through 2 inches of rain, there are several flash flood warnings. Those are the blue boxes. So much of Grundy County is under a flash flood watch or warning, and also parts of Blackhawk County and Tama County under a flash flood warning because of these heavy rainfalls. But we are still having that tornado warning. For the majority of it is in northern Tama County. There is still a little sliver here. You can see the arrow there pointing to it. That is just the northern or southern part of Blackhawk County. But I'd have to say that mostly Tama County, northern Tama County, is under the gun right now for that tornado. Further off to the east, we have northern parts of Benton County, southern parts of Buchanan County, and the northwestern corner of Lynn County. That does include Center Point, Walker area. There, Vinton, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning as well. Farther out, we will zoom out, and you can see we don't have many other warnings except for far up to our north. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Allen McKee County until 9:45, and then stretching back into Grant and Crawford County in Wisconsin, just over the Mississippi River there. That warning is until 10:15. But actual Cedar Rapids, you are not under any warnings as of right now. It is the northern parts of Lynn County. Waterloo, you are not under any warnings as well. It's kind of between the Waterloo and Cedar Rapids area. Now, if you have people traveling along 380 tonight, I'd probably give them a call and say maybe postpone it or pull over and find shelter, because there are some heavy rainfall and storms pushing across that area with the possibility of some large hail. But we still have that tornado warning in effect for mostly the northern Tama County area here for another about 20 minutes until 9:45. And we're still really seeing that indication of that notch on the radar that we call that hook echo is what we've technically call it. But you can really see that notch there, and it just indications the winds are sucking into the storm there and then rotating back around, bringing that rain back around. So that's where we would see that possible tornado. We've had reports of confirmed tornadoes in the area south of Rhinebeck with this storm. So I would put the tornado right in this area here just to the south of Rhinebeck. And it is going to be traveling along that county road or county highway D65 is where that would be located. Highway 63 is still off to the east.
And just like Jen mentioned, we've been seeing that hook echo for quite some time. We started with this back in Hardin County, way out to the west. Started following this rotation that you're still seeing here. Jen again has zoomed in on this. It's the green next to the red that we're watching out for. Doppler radar showing us where the winds are turning within that storm. Green toward the motion toward the radar, red motion away from the radar. So this is giving us an indication of counterclockwise rotation, which is typical where we're seeing a tornado. We call that a couplet. And essentially, whenever you see this, that green and red right next to each other, that is an indication of a lot of rotation going on within the storm, and then we interpret that as a tornado that's on the ground. However, we don't have to just trust the radar in this situation. We have visible confirmed reports from storm spotters, from law enforcement, from fire departments, all along the line of this storm. From the Conrad Fire Department, they had 2 tornadoes that they saw. That was about a half hour ago or so. The latest report that we had was just 1 tornado that was still on the ground, possibly causing damage across portions of northern Tama County. Already moving through the Lincoln area, but now heading out toward the east, again along County Highway D65 and heading out toward Highway 63. This would be located just to the south of Rhinebeck by about 4 to 5 miles or so. And like Jen just reported, Lincoln had 2 inches of rain in less than 45 minutes. It is just a torrential downpour that these storms are producing. They're slow-moving storms, and so they're going to dump a lot of rain in addition to some hail threats that we have for tonight and also that tornado threat. So we're getting hit on all sides by these storms. A lot of different threats that we need to keep track of here, but of course, it's that tornado threat that is our biggest priority. Anybody that's within that tornado warning, you need to be seeking shelter as soon as you possibly can if you haven't already. Areas out to the east, again, if this tornado warning gets issued beyond 9:45, it's possible we could see Benton County, maybe even a little bit of northern Lynn County that could eventually be included in this. So just a heads up for those areas, Vinton, and also again, northern Lynn County, Center Point, Walker, Coggin, Central City, the Lynn County Fairgrounds, obviously Lynn County Fair going on for right now. Any of these areas could be certainly impacted eventually if this hook echo continues to persist, and it has for quite some time now. We've been following this since about 8 o'clock this evening, and for an hour and a half, it has maintained its rotation. It has maintained its strength, at times producing 2 tornadoes. Right now, it appears to just be 1, but it's still a pretty pronounced hook echo that we're seeing right there in Tama County, and this is moving to the east at about 30 to 35 miles an hour, so kind of slowly tracking its way over to the east. Now, earlier we were mentioning Port City quite often. Right now, you're not in a tornado warning. You're just off to the east of that current tornado warning. There is a severe thunderstorm warning, however, that is out to the east of that tornado warning. Hopefully, once we get to 9:45, the National Weather Service will see that that severe thunderstorm warning is all that we need and we don't get a tornado warning reissued. That would be if the rotation here does weaken a little bit. And I can tell you just in the last scan that we got here, you notice it gets a little bit more pixelated. The greens next to the red, they're still there. We're still seeing the rotation, but maybe not quite as strong as it was even in that last scan that we just had a couple of minutes ago. Jen, any other updates that you've seen come in? I haven't had a chance to check the National Weather Service reports recently. Any other confirmed reports of it with this tornado traveling through Tama County?
No, but it was just that last report of damage in Morrison, which is in Grundy County, and then the observed tornado, which was located south of Rhinebeck, but that was about 15 minutes ago. So no other reports, but with the heavy rainfall and now that the sun has set, it's going to be hard to get reports unless you can see it through the lightning. But I would say do not do that. We would rather have you all safe in the basement than trying to send us pictures. Your life is more important than pictures to us right now.
Wait until this threat passes to go out and even see if there is any damage on your property. You're going to have a tough time seeing anything anyways. Of course, like Jen mentioned, now that we're getting into the later stages of the day, and the fact that this storm is producing so much heavy rain, your streets might be flooded out. We're getting 2 inches of rain in 45 minutes with this storm. So street flooding, flash flooding, big concern here, but also that tornado threat that could be producing some damage across portions of Tama County. Been just a few minutes since we put a storm track on that, Jen. Let's go ahead and put that back on there just to time that storm out. Try to include the Traer area if we could, just in case we do have some communities or some residents, some viewers just to the north of Traer that might be impacted by this. So 940 is what we're seeing right now. We're currently at 931, so about 9 minutes until it's in the Traer area. Dysart, you're looking at about 9:55, so that gives you about 25 minutes to prepare for this storm system to move through your area. It does look like this is going to move just to the north of Traer, but it could certainly possibly be, if it moves just a little bit to the south, which is what we're watching here. Again, Jen had highlighted this area that we're seeing that rotation, the green next to red. It looks to be just a little bit to the north of Traer, but if this moves at all, then certainly we could be impacted a little bit more in the community of Traer itself. Certainly it'll be crossing Highway 63 in about the next 10 minutes or so. That's what we're watching for. And then eventually, as it moves farther and farther out to the east, if it maintains its rotation, it could be impacting I-380 as well as it gets a little bit closer in toward some of our more heavily populated areas. Jen, let me back out here for just a second. There's our new latest radar scan. Again, if you could just show Benton County and Linn County just to where this is in relation, and just update us again on the latest warnings that we have in effect and what the threats are.
Yep, we still have the tornado warning here. Looks like it's going to be north of Traer right now, where you kind of see that indentation in the storm. I'm going to put the arrow right there because that's where we would see that tornado. Farther off to the east, we have severe thunderstorm warnings for Benton County. It's going to be northern Benton County. That does include the Vinton area, but does not include Shellsburg. It also has for southern parts of Buchanan County, that's just south of Quasqueton, and then parts of northwestern corners of Linn County. That does include Walker and Center Point, but does not include Robbins or Central City or Coggin or anything like that, or Cedar Rapids. Just kind of pulling it out there.
Heavy rain in Central City at the moment. We're certainly seeing that.
Yeah, and some heavy rain here at the station as well. But all this producing very heavy rainfall, several flash flood warnings in effect. If I can pull you out, those blue areas, that boxes there are flash flood warnings. We're getting several river flooding warnings starting to come back out, of course. We'll tell you about those later on down the road, but right now we're still concerned about this tornado threat. Besides the warnings that we still have a tornado watch in effect for central Iowa. That does include Waterloo. It does include the Grundy and Tama County areas that we're talking about until 11 o'clock. A severe thunderstorm watch for our eastern counties until 3 a.m. That does include Dubuque, Manchester, Independence, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and the Washington area. And then a flash flood watch until 7 a.m. Monday morning. It does include Blackhawk County, the Waterloo area, down towards Marshalltown, Grundy, Tama counties, back towards Des Moines because of the heavy rainfall. And we've had reports in 45 minutes with this storm that has the tornado of 2 inches of rainfall falling in just 45 minutes. So you're not going to see the tornado. It's dark. It is heavy rainfall out there. It is too dangerous. Just seek shelter now. Get to the basement. Listen to us on our mobile streaming if you have a smartphone or a tablet. If you don't have that, you can turn your TV up very loud so you can hear what we're saying. But right now, that tornado is still possibly there just north of Traer is where I would put it. Right there at the corner of that Highway 63, and it was the county road D65.
D65, I believe, yeah.
So kind of that crossroads right there.
And we're still seeing that hook. Perhaps not quite as pronounced as the radar scan that we had previously to this one, but it's certainly still there. Again, Jen putting on the velocity scope here to be able to tell us which way the winds are moving within that storm. Still seeing some green next to red, still seeing that rotation that's going on there. Still giving us concern that we could be dealing with that tornado that has been confirmed in the past with this storm. And we're going to follow this threat at least for the next 10 minutes. 9:35 right now. This tornado warning goes until 9:45. So again, 10 more minutes that we're at least going to be bringing you this continuous tornado coverage. And then we will see whether the National Weather Service allows this warning to expire. If we do not get any additional tornado warnings, we hope to be able to send you back to regular programming on CBS 2. And then we'll also try to get in as much news as we can on the Fox 28 side before we get to the 10 o'clock hour. However, certainly these storms can be cyclical. They can maybe lose a little bit of strength, and then all of a sudden they kind of re-strengthen it yet again as they move over areas that might be a little bit more conducive to be just kind of feeding those storms with the humidity that they need, the instability as well. And sometimes we can be able to get a new tornado warning that might be issued. I'm still giving the heads up to Benton County and northern Linn County just in case we do get another tornado warning that is issued out to the east of Tama County. But at least for right now, it's certainly Tama County that we're watching out for that biggest threat, just to the north of Traer. And let's zoom in a little bit closer than we have even before, Jen, if we could. Let's try to get down right where we would anticipate seeing that tornado and see if we can draw a couple of streets are in here. Northern Tama County, kind of a rural area, obviously, that we're dealing with here, but we're going to put some streets on so you can see what we're dealing with. US 63, County Highway D65, it's likely right at that intersection that a potential tornado could be crossing right now. There you have R Avenue, 150th Street, 150th Street down here, 145th Street. So if you're familiar with any of these areas, if you live in any of these areas, you need to be taking shelter. There's our new scan. Okay, looks like it has now passed Highway 63. So we're now dealing with potentially right up in this area. Notice still that hook echo that is still pronounced, really has not lost a lot of strength in that last scan. Here's County Highway D65, still kind of moving right along that highway. Hasn't really changed direction a whole lot so far, but it's kind of just tracking right along here. The tornado warning itself just goes out to the eastern border of Tama County and into Benton County. It has not been extended out beyond that. However, again, heads up Benton County, you might be dealing with something here if the National Weather Service does decide to reissue this out to the east if that rotation does hold itself together. Jen, let me back out for just a second. Turn it back over to you again if you want to just put a storm track on that since we have that new radar scan, just so we can give folks, again, a timeline of when this is going to be arriving in their communities.
I'm going to put it right here at the notch because that's where we do expect that tornado. It looks like it's now would be past the Traer area, but we're going to put it out about 30 miles. We'll get that again here as some of those smaller towns not wanting to show up. But Dysart at 9:48, so you get about 10 minutes. It looks like it's going to be north of the Dysart area here. And then we do have LaPorte City at 10 o'clock, and we will continue to track that off now. Still expecting that to continue here. I will say good news is they are starting to cancel that tornado watch out to the western part of the state. So hopefully this is the only severe threat that we're going to see here for the rest of the night. Yeah,
it'd be nice if we just get this one round through and then don't have to worry about anything in the overnight. That would certainly be the ideal situation here, is just to have to deal with this first round. Although certainly for anybody who's being impacted by that, maybe the word ideal is kind of a tough one to hear. Just because of all the problems that these storms have been creating. Again, just to recap, we have had tremendous rain. Lincoln reported 2 inches of rain in just about 45 minutes. We've had up to 2-inch diameter hail coming out of some of these storms, and also, of course, the winds up to about 60 miles an hour. We're still just showing you northern Benton County right now. A little bit of southern Blackhawk County in there. And then also now we're getting out toward Linn County, which there is a portion of Linn County, Center Point and Walker, that are included in a severe thunderstorm warning until 10 o'clock. That's not the reason that we're here on the air for you right now. It's the tornado warning that is in Tama County with a confirmed tornado that has been spotted by storm spotters, by law enforcement, several times within its history, that, again, is right in this vicinity, kind of traveling almost due east on County Highway D65, and it just continues to follow that highway. Possible damage in these areas. We have had reports in Morrison, in Grundy County, of roofs that were blown off of structures. Not sure whether that was homes or outbuildings, but certainly there's a lot of damaging wind that is associated with these storms, and that's why we're pleading with you to please take the warning seriously, take shelter as quickly as you can if you're still in the area that's going to be impacted by this tornado warning. So Highway D65, tornado tracking right along that, heading out to the east, and eventually, again, this is going to be moving a little bit closer to I-380. We're still a long ways away from the interstate itself. We have a ways to go until we get there, but we'll keep watching it just in case this does re-intensify And if we do end up getting a little bit more of that rotation showing up. The last time that Jen had put up that velocity scope, the rotation that we were seeing there, the green next to red, did not look quite as strong as what we have been seeing. That's a good sign that the storm hopefully is starting to weaken just a little bit. There you see mainly just red, perhaps a little bit of that green that's in here, kind of back more into where we'd anticipate some of the heavier rain or a little bit of the hail that's also associated with this storm, perhaps up to the north. But as we move that scope around, we're not seeing the same pronounced rotation that we've had for much of the evening. Hopefully that means that this storm system is finally starting to lose a bit of strength, and that would allow us to be able to get you back to regular programming on CBS 2 and also back to our newscast on Fox 28. Let me step out one last time here for just a second to give Jen an opportunity to widen the radar out. Just give you the lay of the land again as to what we have currently in effect, what the threats are for all of our communities, and then we'll wrap up here with this tornado warning one last time, and then we'll see at 9:45 whether the National Weather Service issues anything else. If not, we're going to head back over to the news side, and we'll see whether we can be able to get you a little bit of news here on the Fox side of things before we get to 10 o'clock. Jen?
We still have that tornado warning in effect until 9:45, so just a couple more minutes in Tama County. I haven't heard if they're extending that or anything like that. It does also include far southern tip of Black Hawk County, but I say Tama County is the biggest one, that arrow pointing to where we do think that possible tornado is. Now farther off to the east, we do have northern Benton County and parts of southern Buchanan County and the northwestern tip of Linn County in a severe thunderstorm warning until 10 o'clock, so another about 15 minutes on that one. Up to the north, we now have still severe thunderstorm warnings, but also flash flood warnings that have gone into effect for Clayton County and parts of Allen-McKee County under a flash flood warning, but Allen-McKee County still under a severe thunderstorm warning for another couple of minutes there, and that does go into Crawford and Grant County, Wisconsin. If I pull out a little bit farther here, you can see the whole big picture. Dubuque, you're seeing some heavy rainfall. Here in Cedar Rapids, we are seeing some heavy rainfall. We've had reports of pea-sized hail in Marion about 3 minutes ago. So even though you don't have any warnings, you are still seeing some strong storms. And then back out to the south and west, we're still seeing storms south of Des Moines. So Iowa City, you haven't really seen much of anything yet, but later on tonight, you could still also see the possibility of some thunderstorms and heavy rainfall. But the big area we've been really watching is the ones with the warnings right now in our central viewing area, south of Waterloo, north of Cedar Rapids. We still have the possibility of a tornado. Traer, it looks like you would be out of that warning as it is off to your north and east. Dysart would be off to your north, and also LaPorte City off to your south and west. We still have that tornado watch in effect for our viewing area, Waterloo, Marshalltown, Grundy County, Tama County until 11 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warning until 3 a.m. for Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Washington, over towards Manchester, the Clayton County area, Dubuque, and then a flash flood watch until 7 a.m. Monday morning for the Waterloo area back down towards Marshalltown. So several watches and warnings still in effect. Still haven't heard anything about this tornado warning. Actually, they just said that they are going to expire it.
That's good news. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. That's what we wanted to see.
Yep.
Let me just step right back in here. Let me give you a quick idea of what we're dealing with here again. Still watching that possibility of some rotation that is in Tama County, but it has been weakening. The National Weather Service has allowed that tornado warning to expire. That went until 9:45. That's good news. We're hoping to see that rotation continue to decrease and no longer pose a tornado threat. But like Jen mentioned, we're still dealing with some severe thunderstorms. At this point, we're going to try to get in some of our Fox 28 newscasts and also send you back to regular programming on CBS 2. We will be watching this very closely through the rest of the evening. If we get anything that gets reissued for Benton County, for Linn County, again, heads up, those communities could be still in line for something if that storm that we've been watching in Tama County does re-intensify. So don't let your guard down just yet. But at least for right now, we'll be able to send you back to regular program. I'm also going to send it back to our normal weekend crew. Matt Hamill and Sadie Hughes are standing by, ready to be able to deliver some of the news of the day on Fox 28. And on CBS 2, we'll be sending you back to regular programming. From all of us here at the Weather First team,
yes,
I'm Chief Meteorologist Corey Christie Hansen.
Let's get to work.
The action sequences in Hong Kong are my favorite.
Well, good evening. We have another tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service for portions of our viewing area until 11 o'clock. So we got about 26 minutes on this one. It is Doppler indicated, but is for Jackson County, a small part of Jones County, and then back over towards Joe Daviess County, Illinois. This is all kind of pushing southward out of the area that we had the severe thunderstorm warning here. It is also very strong winds or hail with this, and also some very strong lightning. We've seen a lot of that there. So this does include the Maquoketa area, Andrew, Bellevue, Preston, and Lost Nation. It is down to your up to your north. Monticello, you're not in that as well, but that it goes until 11 o'clock here. It is Doppler indicated, and we aren't going to see actual tornadoes on the ground because, one, it is dark outside. Two, there is very heavy rainfall. A lot of these storms have been producing 2 inches of rainfall in about an hour, so we aren't going to see that. It is going to be Doppler indicated as right now. We're seeing rotation, and that is going to be pushing Maquoketa area, Andrew, over towards Bellevue, and then across the Mississippi River into Joe Daviess County there. So that is the very edge of that. But we are watching this area right in here for this possible tornado that is Doppler indicated. Now, we are continuing to watch it very closely. Just north of that is a severe thunderstorm warning here for another 10 minutes. That does include the Monticello area, also back up towards portions of Jackson County and also Dubuque County until 10:45. There you can see that Dubuque and Jackson County for severe thunderstorm warning. That is possible for dangerous lightning, but also hail up to 1/4 inch and 60-mile-an-hour winds, and of course some very heavy rainfall. We've seen a lot of flash flooding concerns overnight tonight because of these storms pushing across the same area. I'm going to throw it over to Corey for just a second so he can give us a little bit more information on this tornado warning, where they think that tornado is located at, and also what direction it is moving. Corey.
Sure, just getting this information in from the National Weather Service. Let's see, we just had this come in at 10:30, so 5 minutes ago. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Onslow, moving east at 45 miles an hour. So far, just radar indicated. Like Jen just mentioned, it is dark outside. There's a lot of rain with this. You're not going to see it unless a flash of lightning perhaps illuminates this tornado within this storm. But certainly a very dangerous situation. The storm could be or will be near Canton around 10:40, Nashville at 10:45, Hurtsville and Maquoketa 10:50, Fulton and Andrew around 10:55, and Springbrook around 11 o'clock. Other locations in the warning include Wildwood Acres, Baldwin, Crabtown, Iron Hills, Maquoketa Caves State Park, Buckhorn, Maquoketa Municipal Airport, Otter Creek, and Cottonville. We are scrolling information with this across the bottom of your screen to give you a little bit more information. Let me head back over here to radar and toss it back over to Jen. We'll try to give you a little bit more information on what's happening here as we zoom in on the street level.
Indentation here we see between Onslow and Wyoming. They said it was located near Onslow, so that would be kind of where we are expecting to see some of that rotation with this possible tornado there. North of Wyoming, south of Onslow, you see this little indent here, and that's kind of what we call a hook, and that's where we would see the possibility of some rotation with this storm. And it is all pushing off to the east, as Corey said. So Monmouth, you are going to be in line for this, and then eventually Maquoketa, you're kind of on the back edge of this, farther down the line. So Onslow, you're going to be watching out for this. Also Wyoming, you're going to be seeing the possibility of that rotation tornado as it continues to push eastward. In Jones County right now, eventually pushing into Jackson County, and then eventually across the Mississippi River. But our concern is right now in the Jones County area between Onslow and Wyoming. There's a lot of rural areas right there, but do know that this is a dangerous situation. We have really no light to see this, just with the lightning, and with very heavy rainfalls, you're not going to be able to see this. And we have had 2 tornadoes confirmed in the viewing area here just tonight, and then one just outside the viewing area. So these can quickly spin up those rotations with little or no warning, put a tornado down. do a little bit of damage, go back up, and then come back down again. That's kind of the trend that we're seeing with some of these storms here throughout the overnight hours that we've been tracking. So we still have that tornado warning. Jones County is the area we're really watching right now. It does include Jackson County and Joe Daviess County down the line until 11 o'clock as well. But as of right now, the rotation and the possible tornado is in Jones County here, just around Onslow and north of Wyoming. It will eventually be affecting Maquoketa, Lost Nation. It is going to be north of you. If it continues to hold together, then it was in Jackson County, Bellevue, and then across the Mississippi River. But as of right now, much of Jackson County, you're not seeing a whole lot of precipitation even with this right now. It's all still back off to your west. So right now it's near Onslow. It's going to be to the east of Anamosa and Olin, so you are out of the clear. And like I said, Lost Nation, you're in the clear, but Maquoketa, you are under this. You may be hearing the tornado sirens going off. This is your warning now to seek shelter. You have some time because that possible tornado is with this little indentation back here at the start of that red tornado warning box. So it is a little bit farther away, so you have the time to seek shelter now. But you're going to notice all these dark reds and oranges out in front of it. That's the heavy rainfall and possibly some hail you're going to see even before the tornado comes because it's on the back side of this. So we're continuing to watch the possibility. We have Doppler indicated right now, but we take that very seriously because we had Doppler indicated earlier tonight and it did produce two tornadoes. And you can really see with that latest scan, that notch or that hook echo that we call it, really kind of fire up there. So that is the area we're watching for that rotation in this tornado warning here in Jones County. It's going to be just the eastern edge of the Jones County area. There's the Jones County line right there. So you can kind of see the eastern half of Jones County is in that tornado warning. And then it comes into Jackson County here, and it does extend pretty much through the central part of Jackson County, and much of that area is in there, and then it goes into just the western edge of Joe Daviess County, which is just getting on the border of our viewing area here. But we are smack dab in our viewing area here with Jones County, so it is station policy. We apologize for breaking into your programming, but station policy to break in if there's a tornado warning in any part of our viewing area. We stay on air while that warning is in effect to keep you safe and to keep you informed of the situation as it develops. And as we've seen tonight, it can develop quickly into some tornadoes. So Wyoming and Onslow area, that's the area that we're slowly watching for this possible tornado and this rotation. It is going to be out in front of all this heavy rainfall. And as Corey puts a storm tracker on here, we're going to get some times of where you can expect some of these storms and when they will be in your area. So you can kind of get a lead on when you need to be seeking shelter and how much time you have to prepare. So we can see Oxford Junction there at 10:43. Maquoketa, we've been talking about that. You got 11:01, so you got about 20 minutes until it gets to Maquoketa because it's still way back out in here. So you have time, Maquoketa. You are under the tornado warning, not quite in your area yet, but it is coming in your direction, so you need to seek shelter now. We will continue to stay on here until this is done. We got about 20 more minutes with this, but the area we're really watching here is this big indentation in these showers and storms. But how we gets that is the winds are coming to and away from the radar. So right now winds are going this way away from the radar and pushing that rain kind of back up towards it. On the back side of this, the winds are coming towards the radar and it's pushing the rain farther to the south. So Onslow, I'd say maybe the possibility of some rotation. There we go.
There
we can see it right there, just in the scope, right over Onslow. If you are in Onslow, you need to be seeking shelter. You need to be in the basement, the lowest floor of your home. Put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. And some very good rotation there. We see the reds right next to the green, some big rotation right over Onslow, north of Wyoming. So this is where we are seeing that possibility of a tornado. Some very good rotation showing up on radar, of course. Not going to get too many storm reporters out there because of the rain and the darkness to see this, but I would take this very seriously. There's some very good rotation with this. And I don't know if Corey, if you can pop up maybe some streets along this area so we can get a little better idea, but we are going to see that rotation right here, green and red, right next to each other. There's a street just to the north of Onslow, 130th Street, County Road E29, and this is State Highway 136 going from Wyoming to the Onslow area. So that area, if you live along that road, north or south of Onslow, I would say you need to be in your basement. Take this very seriously. We are going to see some very heavy rainfall with this, possibly some hail, but the biggest risk is that rotation. It could quickly drop a tornado with very little warning, and so it's almost that rotation we see on the radar sitting right over Onslow or just to the east of Onslow. So that's where you need to be seeking shelter. There's 115th Street just to the south and east of Onslow, but really State Highway 136 is a big one there. County Road E29 coming out of Onslow there, kind of in that area. That's what we're going to be watching for that area, for that rotation. And we did see a lot of rotation on radar, so that's why we have this tornado warning. The National Weather Service saw it. They see it's a good indication that there is a tornado possibly on the ground. You see the greens next to the reds, a very big, strong indication there of rotation.
That's about the worst that we've seen all night, Jen.
I will say, yes, it has been the worst we've seen all night. And we've seen tornadoes with the other rotation that we've seen tonight. So if this is the strongest rotation we have seen, the possibility of a tornado on the ground, it's looking pretty good right now. And so I would say Onslow, north of the Wyoming area, still can't rule out maybe some strong winds in Wyoming, but Onslow, unfortunately, you are under the gun right now. If you know family in that area, please give them a text, wake them up. They might be in bed already, may not have the weather radio on. Give them a call, say, hey, do you know what's going on? You need to wake up, you need to get in the basement. This is where we're seeing the possibility, and a very strong possibility, of that tornado right now, possibly on the ground. You're not going to see it, but you need to be taking shelter now. I don't know if Corey can load those tornado safety tips, but we've been telling you all night that you need to get to the lowest floor of the house. You need to get in the basement or an interior room. Corey, I'll let you go through the rest of these.
I'd be happy to take that over. Yeah, sorry, I was actually just about to head out the door. We had hoped that the threat for the tornadoes was done for the night. And then all of a sudden we got this new warning. So that's why you're seeing Jen over there at the green screen. I'm driving the radar, but we're still bringing you this team coverage of what's happening here with this latest tornado threat. And we will continue to do so until this threat is no longer in our viewing area. Just like Jen mentioned, you want to get to the lowest floor in your house as fast as you possibly can. If you're in Onslow, if you're in Wyoming, if you're in Monmouth, any of those communities, you are going to be potentially impacted by a tornado. If you're in a mobile home, that is a really unsafe place to be. You want to try to evacuate those areas, get to a safe shelter if you can. If you do not have a basement, get to an interior room if you can. Someplace that is going to be away from windows. That is the worst place that you can be, is any place that is close to a window, as that is the most prone area to get injured by flying debris. Put as many walls between you and the tornado as you possibly can. If possible, get under something sturdy like a table or any other heavy piece of furniture. Cover yourself with blankets or mattress, again, to shield yourself from debris. And also, we advise people to try to put a bike helmet, football helmet, baseball helmet, anything that you have that might be able to protect your head. That is certainly something that you want to try to do here. Above all, though, stay calm and do not panic. You've got to think through quickly where you need to go and make sure that you get everyone in your family down to that safe spot. Let me get back to radar and heading it back over to Jen.
As we can see, we have had another update here with the scan on the radar and the velocity. So you still see reds next to green out in front of it, and maybe even a possible secondary rotation here back behind Onslow. So out in front of it, I'd say, is right in this area where you see those reds kind of mixing with the greens and kind of arcing a little bit, kind of seeing that rotation swish the storm around there. As Corey circling on the radar there. So just possibly to now the east of Onslow, headed towards the Monmouth area. You can see that down here. It'd be to your north and west if you're in the Monmouth area, and it'd be to your north and east if you're in the Wyoming area. But still, you kind of see this big notch in this storm here, and that's where we're seeing the rotation, is right in here where you see kind of the greens pushing into the storm. And that's really a big indication we look at for the rotation of the storm. The winds kind of pushing the storm back up and around, and so that's where we're seeing the rotation, not only on the radar with the rain, but also with the velocity or the winds in the storm that we look at for that rotation. So a very good reason why we have this tornado warning for Jones County until 11 o'clock tonight. We got another 13 minutes on that. It does come into Jackson County, but the threat right now is still in Jones County. There is the Jones and Jackson County line, so it's just about to approach that going into Jackson County here. But Jones County, you're under the gun right now. That will continue to slide off to the east. Maquoketa, you are in this. You're seeing probably some very heavy rain right now, possibly some winds and hail. Andrew is in that as well. And then eventually it's getting over to the Mississippi River. But Right now, it's going to be the western edge of Jones County that we're seeing that rotation and the possibility of a tornado. Right there, you can see the arrow pointing to where we think that tornado is. Getting very close to the Jackson County line, but you're not going to be seeing this tornado. It is very dark out there, a lot of rain with this. We've had reports of rain tonight, over 2 inches in 45 minutes, and with lots of flash flood warnings out there. You can even see this blue box here just coming into that tornado warning. That is a flash flood warning for Jones County, the northern parts, until 4 a.m. So lots of heavy rain, and unfortunately it's coming into this area that has the tornado warning here until 11 o'clock. Now, we are continuing to see that notch, as Corey was pointing out here, and some good rotation with this. Now, we've seen rotation with some of the storms tonight that have produced tornadoes, and that's why we're on the air right now, trying to keep you safe, especially since you aren't going to be seeing anything. Right now, I'd say that along County Road E29 and 20th Avenue here, that's where that rotation is going to be. So if you live along that area or know some neighbors in that area, give them a call. I know you don't want to call them and wake them up, but this is the time you need to call your neighbors and wake them up. Tell them that, hey, you may not know what's going on. You need to get in the basement because there's a tornado possibly pushing across your house or in your area, and you need to seek shelter. So don't let them sleep through this. This is possibly a life-threatening situation in this area just now to the east of Onslow, to the north and east of Wyoming. Wyoming, you are on the southern edge of this, pushing towards Monmouth. So if you're in Monmouth, you need to be seeking shelter now. You may even notice a lot of heavy rain, and then the rain kind of slows down, and then you're going to have the tornado. So latest update now, there's the Jones and Jackson County line. It looks like that notch that we've been looking at right in this area has been pushed across the county line. So now it looks like Jackson County, north of Monmouth, would be in that area. So right in here, 15th Avenue, we have the ID on there for you, would be in that rotation area. It's where this green is kind of notched up into those yellows and those reds is where we notice the rotation in that storm. So it is now pushed far enough east of the Onslow area. Monmouth, it looks like it'd be almost directly north of you. And it's continued to kind of push east and maybe a little bit northeast with this latest scan pushing across the area here. We have that still now Jones County, Jackson County, which where we are now in with is crossing that county line until 11 o'clock. So we got another 10 minutes on this tornado warning, but we have seen some strong rotation with this storm as it has pushed through the Onslow area, now just north of the Monmouth area. And Corey, do we have another report?
Yeah, Jen, let me just break in here for just a second. The National Weather Service did post that a tornado had actually been observed with this, which is no surprise from what we've been looking at. We showed you that strong rotation, and but an actual observed tornado that was located near Monmouth and moving east at 45 miles an hour. This continues, again, the warning until 11 o'clock, so we're going to be here with you at least until then. My guess is they might extend this beyond that as this continues to move out to the east at 45 miles an hour. Again, just at 10:40 a few minutes ago, a confirmed tornado located near Monmouth and moving east at 45 miles an hour. No reports of damage just yet, although there was a report earlier back around Wyoming. Let's see, public report of a tornado touchdown relayed by the Jones County Emergency Manager. But again, no reports of any damage just yet, but we do certainly have a confirmed tornado that's in the area. Not only that, but Jen also mentioned the fact that we have some torrential rains coming out of these storms, a lot of flash flooding that's going on. In Dubuque, we're getting storm spotter reports of a flash flood, water 2 to 3 feet deep on 17th Street and Kaufman Avenue. That's in Dubuque. So a lot of heavy rain also coming down with these storms. 2 to 3 feet high water in Dubuque. Jen?
Yeah, so we do have the confirmed spotter tornado in the area that we've been showing you here the last couple minutes. We said north of Monmouth. They said it was north and around the Monmouth area. That confirmed tornado spotted on the ground, and that's kind of the area we're watching right in this area and why we have that tornado warning here until 11 o'clock. So confirmed tornado on the ground near the Monmouth area and is moving east. So that is going to continue to bring it. It looks like if it continues its path, Andrew would be in line of it, but it would be north of the Maquoketa area if that area of rotation that is right in this area, that little notch, as we call it, continues to push east and slightly northeast with that latest scan there. Eventually bringing it through Jackson County here. It's now over the Jackson and Jones County line, and that still goes until 11 o'clock. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it gets extended farther out.
They used to have it over Joe Davies County when they first initially issued the warning, but now they took that out. It looks like they've shortened it back a little bit, but it still does include those two counties.
Yeah, it's now just Jackson and Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if Jones gets canceled here and we continue to expand it, since we do have that confirmed tornado spotted on the ground near Monmouth, which is where we've been watching this rotation. And there's lots of heavy rain out in front of it. There's a lot of lightning with this storm, and that's probably how they were able to spot this tornado if they didn't have reports of debris. But I don't know if Corey can switch over to the lightning.
Yeah, let me switch you over to the lightning.
Take a look at this lightning.
This
you really
is just
can't even see the
insane that
map
we're watching
behind
this
it.
right now.
Over 6,600 lightning strikes in the last 10 minutes. That's lightning strikes ground to cloud, not just in the cloud itself. So you can see the strongest part of that storm is in here, Jones and Jackson County. You can't even see the map. And with all this lightning, it's indication that that's where the strongest storm is. And when we get the strong storms, those are the storms capable of producing the tornadoes and the large hail and gusty winds. So this would be indicate that's where the strongest storm is, and that's where we do have that tornado warning and confirmed tornado on the ground near the Monmouth area, which means it is now to the east of Onslow and Wyoming. So it is continuing to push away from you, but it's in this notch. We call it a hook, but it's typically a notch is how we call it. And we are continuing to see that rotation now between Monmouth and Onslow. So very good looking indication of some rotation here. Probably the best we've seen all night, and we've seen already tornadoes dropped with the less rotation than this. So greens towards the radar, red away, and you kind of see the counterclockwise when they get mixing in there, especially when you get tightening up there. That is where we see that rotation and the possibility, and even confirmed tornado now on the ground near the Monmouth area. Don't know if it's causing any damage, but there's the latest update on the velocity. Continue to push it just north of Monmouth now, where we had that confirmed tornado on the ground by, I don't know if it was the fire department, emergency management, or a spotter, but we did have that confirmed one on the ground just about 10 minutes ago.
Initially, when it was in Jones County, it was the Jones County emergency manager that had reported this tornado. That was back at 10:36, so about 20 minutes ago. Then the next confirmed spotting that we had was at 10:40, although it doesn't say exactly who reported that, possibly from a storm spotter that was in the area of Monmouth that did indicate that they did see that. At the moment, since then, really the only other updates that we've had, again, dealing with that flash flooding, heavy rain in Dubuque, some street flooding 2 to 3 feet deep. Flash flood warnings also for Benton, Jones, Linn counties. Tremendous amounts of rain coming down with these storms. Even if you're not dealing with a tornado warning for tonight, you're still likely going to be dealing with some street flooding and possibly eventually leading to some river flooding as we get into this coming week. Jen?
And I don't know if we can pull the radar out. I know we were talking about this tornado warning, but these storms are continuing to push across the area, producing some very heavy rainfall. Lots of lightning. We've had reports of some large hail overnight. We've had reports of gusty winds. But as this continues to slide, Dubuque is going to be up here, right under where it says Doppler radar. There's Dubuque. So it's to the south of Dubuque and kind of stretching south of Highway 20. Highway 20 is right here, so it's kind of running parallel with that, but just farther to the south. So Monticello, you're seeing some very heavy rainfall. Anamosa pushing into the Bellevue area. Maquoketa seeing that heavy rain now as it continues to push eastward. Highway 61 runs right through here. So if you're traveling along that area, you're probably not seeing the road very well. But this little notch right in here is where we are seeing that rotation and have had a confirmed tornado on the ground tonight. And it's going to be possibly doing some damage. So you need to be in your safe spot. We're waiting to hear from the National Weather Service on whether they are going to continue this warning.
Yeah, just got an update on that, Jen. As I'm putting a storm track on here again, Maquoketa at 11:12. By the time it gets to you, hopefully that rotation may be weakening. The National Weather Service just indicated that it does plan to let the warning expire at 11 o'clock. Now, that does not mean necessarily that the threat is completely over. We have seen this before, that sometimes the storm may briefly weaken and then it cycles over again, it strengthens back up, and then it may produce another tornado, or it may produce another area of rotation. So not completely done with the threat for tonight. However, at least the National Weather Service, this is a good sign currently, does expect to allow this tornado warning to expire for Jones County, which currently goes for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, so Jones County, I would say you're almost out of the clear right now because the rotation we're seeing is now pushed over to Jackson County, and just popped up there another flash flood warning. It looks like for Jones County there until 4:45. We've had some very heavy rainfall with this. Some areas over 2 inches. We've had flash flooding reported in Dubuque with 2 to 3 feet of water running through there. So not a good news. This is just a radar indicator of how much rainfall in an hour. And you can see anywhere between 2 to 3 inches of rainfall is what's estimated falling. Now, that's if that would sit over that area for an hour. Now, this is pushing only about 30 miles per hour to the east, and it's kind of looking like it's building to the southeast as well a little bit, but pushing eastward 30 miles per hour. So it could sit over your area for an hour. Some seeing that rainfall. So you could get 1 to 2, maybe even 3 inches of rainfall here overnight tonight. And that's why we do have that concern for flash flooding. And of course, then we're going to have to worry about the threat for river flooding as well. And I do know there are some more river flooding warnings coming out with this heavy rainfall falling as well. Yeah. Corey's put on.
We're still seeing that rotation. Excuse me, sorry, the voice is going just from some of the coverage we've been doing earlier this evening. We're still seeing some rotation here, obviously, on radar, the greens next to the reds. So that still gives us some concern here, even though the National Weather Service has indicated that they expect to allow this to expire at 11 o'clock. Even if that is the case, I would still urge anyone who is watching us out from Jackson County, please keep your guard up, as we may still be dealing with a potentially dangerous situation through the rest of the evening here, Jem.
Yeah, and there they've let that expire there. I would still say we've seen the rotation. It's kind of where this notch is. I would say it's going to be headed directly towards the Andrew area. So if you're in Andrew, I would be seeking shelter now. It looks like it's going to be north of Maquoketa, and that is Highway 61 there that it'll be passing. So if you live along Highway 61 in that north of Maquoketa area, just know you could be seeing that tornado moving over you. But if this area continues to push eastward, I would say, Andrew, you're in line for that. And then if it continues to push east as well, farther, it will be going towards the Green Island area and then back across the Mississippi River. So that'll be pushing into Joe Daviess County. But I'd say right now, Maquoketa, you need to be seeking shelter. Monmouth, you should already be in your shelter. Andrew, you're next in line for this. And as we zoom back out, because the tornado warning has been expired, we will be going off air here, but we'll track it closely and break it if it is issued again. But all these blue boxes, it looks like Cedar Rapids now has a flash flood warning for Lynn County as well as part of Benton, Buchanan, Blackhawk. Pretty much anyone that has seen rain here tonight, you are seeing heavy rain. It is causing flash flooding concerns, and those showers and storms continue to kind of slide south and eastward, or back build as they're called. So Iowa City, I wouldn't be surprised if you see some heavy rainfall here in the next hour or so, and then back down towards the Tipton area, and then eventually to Clinton and Moline. But for right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, no tornado warnings in effect. We just have the flash flood warnings in effect for a lot of the area here. Lots of lightning with these storms, still some gusty winds, a possibility, some hail, and of course the possibility still of some tornadoes firing up here very quickly with low warning. So Corey and I will continue to track these storms as they continue to push through the corridor area here tonight. As of right now, there's no warnings in effect, so we will get you back to regularly scheduled programming. But no, if anything else is issued, we will be breaking in and let you know about it. So in the meantime, for Corey and myself, we're getting you back to regularly scheduled programming.
Kim Basinger and Jack